Oh yeah, if you don't believe in that book, then how could anything be real? Nothing would be real.
What do we
Welcome.
got here?
What?
I said, what do we got here?
Oh, I just proved that truth statements of the Bible are 100% accurate.
Okay. All right. So what about? Let me ask you this. So let me give you my stance. It's kind of a generalization of everything you have up there. I'm not going to pick one particularly because I think the idea kind of fulfills most of them anyway. So with the Bible, I genuinely believe that the people in the Bible existed. There is definitely, it's very hard to doubt that there was somebody named Jesus, somebody named Moses, somebody named Abraham, because it's very provable to say, pass a name down millions or thousands of years. Maybe the name got changed a little bit, whatever. That's something. But my question about the Bible is, why is it that all the things that have happened that we apparently have, records of, why can't any of those things be repeated today?
Um, I'm not sure. Like, why doesn't people walk on water today or something? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, yeah. Like, why don't we have,
I don't
why
know.
doesn't, why doesn't someone come forward and speak up on a mountain and tell us, maybe we should update the commandments. Maybe times have changed.
Well,
Slavery is not good. We don't like slavery. Back then, it was kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we have any of that today?
back then it was. Well, the Christians ended slavery. The reason we don't like slavery is because Jesus, he changed how we treat other people, our relationships with people.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
Moses held up the Ten
slavery.
Commandments.
You think
About
slavery is wrong because of Jesus, ultimately.
No, I think slavery is wrong because it ultimately has
Oh,
proven to
I'm
be.
sorry to
Wait, wait,
tell. Yeah,
wait.
sorry. You're really misinformed. I hate to
Hold on,
break
I
this.
didn't finish talking
No,
yet.
sorry. You're really misinformed on this subject matter, right? If you read Tom Holland's book Dominion, you'll learn that you're born in the West and you get your values informed from your society, right? And so whether you like it or not, Christianity informed the way your values and how you view the world. One of those is that you think slavery is bad. That's because of Christianity.
Well, I won't deny that we think slavery is bad because of Christians. I won't deny that, but I will deny that we think slavery is bad because God said so.
Okay. You're totally insane. That's like, of course, like God. One of
Why
the
am I
things
insane?
because God, the Jews called God the liberator.
Okay.
The first thing
I'm
he
Jewish, by the way.
does in Exodus is he frees slaves. It's like the first thing he does in the Bible.
I'm Jewish, by the way. But no, God did free the slaves according to the Bible. That's right, according to the Bible. But so you're still not answering my question. Like, I want to know. The point of the question is this: I feel like today we have a lot of explanations that we can explain rationally as to why they may have happened the way they said they did in the Bible. And I feel like back then when they wrote the Bible, they didn't have the rational ways we have today to explain. For example, okay, the parting of the Red Sea, right? When Moses led the people out of Egypt, we can rationally explain that with a possible tide, right? But the way it was written, we
No,
can say it was written. No, the way
no,
it was written, people. It was written. We
no,
can say it was written. No, the way
no.
it was written, people believe that's what they saw.
You can't explain that as a tide the
Okay, why?
because the Egyptian armies got drowned.
Okay, they
That
did
a
get
tide
drowned.
doesn't explain that.
Yeah, but you're right. The tide didn't explain that, but that still doesn't explain. There was a lot. There's a big gap in there. So today, right? Let's say today somebody were to travel across the sea. Uh, would you say that it's very possible that two ships, one ship chasing another ship, and it was maybe there was a storm. One ship just got capsized, and the other one was able to make it out.
There's no ship though.
How do you know?
We read the story. There's no ship.
Right, you read this story.
Yeah.
Right, this again. This is what people accounted for. So if I write a book and I
You're
see
just
something.
making shit up. Like,
Hold
why?
on, stop. Hold on.
Oh my
So if there's like a bunch of people with me, and we don't know what science is, we don't know anything. We're it's 2,000 years ago. We don't have the advancements we know today, and I see something happen as far as people walking across a sea. Let's say like I don't know, in Florida there's a very shallow part of the Atlantic Ocean, and I see people walking there. Am I going to assume that they were walking the whole sea? Like the
No.
whole Atlantic Sea, the whole Atlantic Ocean? No. So maybe, right? Again, this is maybe because it's written in a book. We just have people's accounts. Maybe they saw people walking in a shallow part, but didn't see them make it to the other side.
The problem is like everything in that book has to be true.
Okay, you didn't. That's a generalized statement which we're trying to kind of dissect right now. You can't just argue that back at me saying everything about it is true. I'm trying to tell you that maybe this
Okay,
could have been.
I'm listening to you, and you are a
Yeah.
complete rude son of a bitch. Are you even a Jew? Tell a joke. Prove you're a Jew. Tell me a joke.
Whoa. Okay, back up. First of all, why am I rude? What did I do that was rude?
Go to hell.
Why am I? Whoa.
What a piece of shit. Welcome, neighbor.
Yo, what's up?
What up, dog?
Yeah, so you're using words kind of just like wrong here.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, but Christianity isn't objectively proven.
Yes,
so
it is.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
What does objectively mean?
Objectively means it's a fact of the external world as opposed to a fact of my mental state.
And please tell me an objective fact that proves Christianity.
The Christian God is necessary for facts because facts require things like identity, cause and effect, reliability of senses and cognitive faculties, and all of those require the Christian God.
No, it doesn't, because atheism just directly goes against what you believe.
How do
Because atheists walk around.
You're making a counterclaim.
Yeah,
so to have identity, right? To have a fact, you need identity. So in atheism, like what limits the properties of my cat so my cat doesn't turn into a dog? Because God does that, in my view. Why isn't my cat turning into a dog right now?
Probably
Atheism.
that's not what the DNA was made up of. Your cat was made up of cat DNA.
This is what. Okay, so that proves that you need God, right?
No, it doesn't.
Well, then why can't you answer my question, little man?
What's your question, dog? Like,
my cat isn't a dog; it's staying a cat. So
Yeah,
there's
I know.
something
I
limiting
understand.
its properties. So, like, what limits the properties of the cat? And it's not DNA. I'm asking you, like, what's the absolute identity statement so that anything can have an identity?
So that anything. Okay.
What's
You're
the
saying words
there has
solid.
to
We're
be
gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
for there to be a cat, there has to be this self-existent necessary reality that imposes and secures all the contingent states of affairs.
Yeah, you're just gonna say words. All right. The second.
Did I say that correctly, Darth?
I only heard part of it.
There has to be.
I wouldn't say what limits your cat from changing, because you're already granting the actuality of the cat. You're bringing up the issue of identity over time. They cannot account for identity even for within a single time index.
I thought that was a way to like explain it to people that don't know philosophy. It's like
I think what we have to deal with is simplify it for them. They cannot account for identity at all, that something is what it is.
like so they don't even know, like when you say identity, they don't even know what that means. So that's why I say like that's why I say how do I put it, like if
Is this a new account?
No, it's just one I haven't been using much lately.
Oh,
You're
okay.
probably not a
Can you
mod.
mod me on? I'm not modded.
So I say if there's no limit to like the properties or attributes of any
I, w-
element,
I,
then
I
there's no
wouldn't.
limit.
I wouldn't use that line of questioning. How is the identity real? What's the something else that actualizes identity? Okay. What we want to distinguish is that something possesses identity either by virtue of God or something else. So that when they can't come up with something else, they have to realize that they don't have any other option but to
But
acknowledge God as the one who's instantiating or
that's what
actualizing identity.
I'm saying. The same thing, but I'm saying like God's the one that's limiting the properties, right?
Yeah, but that only comes after the fact that there's identity. Identity comes
Yeah,
first before
right.
identity.
But it's easier for them to understand that. I think that.
I don't agree. What I would say is the Christian position is that it is God who is the absolute, the ultimate. He actualizes an identity. Okay,
Yeah, but
identity comes first before identity over time.
the identity over time requires the absolute as well. Like they
But
both.
you're just asking a question is, why does your cat not shapeshift into a rock? They don't care about that. The question is, why is anything real? Okay, that's what identity comes down to, that it's real.
But I mean, it all ties together. I don't know. I think I
All right.
just.
Well, I think it's a wrong approach to talk about, why does the cat remain it? You can bring that up, but it should be subsequent to discussing the realness of identity. Okay. So, for example, um, when we talk about
I think that goes.
cat and the cat and the tree are on the lawn.
Yeah, but what you're
Why
presenting,
aren't the cat and the tree a part of just one thing?
I think that goes over people's head because it's so
No, no,
fundamental.
no.
Okay.
I don't agree with you.
Okay. It's like you're too fundamental. Welcome, neighbor.
Call me Cash, it's easier. But good day to you, sir. Darth, once again, we've crossed paths. It's nice to meet you. I have an update. I'm no longer atheist, Darth. I'm polytheist. I believe in the 12 Olympians.
Okay, do you accept that there is a supreme being who is the creator of all things that are not himself?
No, whilst I don't believe in
Then
that.
you're an atheist by definition. Doesn't
No,
matter.
an atheist
Okay,
by
okay,
definition.
arguable. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, good. I'm 64. I'm 3 times your age. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so why don't you listen for a second, and you're gonna learn something, Mister. I'm a genius 20-year-old. Okay, so there are two kinds of atheists. Okay, one who denies that there's a supreme being, and those who deny that there is no supreme being nor junior deities. Okay, so
Okay. So the definition of atheism is that there
dude.
is no belief in a
I'm
God.
about to kick you.
P. Mars,
Okay.
can we have a discussion?
Okay, I'm about to kick you because I want you to listen to me carefully. There's two ways to be an atheist. One is to deny that there is a supreme being. Okay. The other way is to deny that there is a supreme being and there are no other gods. Okay. So do you understand now? This is the second time that I've explained to you the two ways that you can be an atheist.
Okay, great. I want to have a conversation with the host.
Okay. Do you understand? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Mod me, will you please, P Mars? Good.
Okay.
So you're an atheist who believes that there are junior deities.
I'm an atheist that believes in deities. Yes, if that's how you want to put it. Some people.
No,
Put
that's
it
not how
polytheism.
I want to put it. That's how it's cashed out in philosophy.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So, do you have sin offerings then? Do you still do sin offerings?
Do I? No.
Why
That's
not?
it's why? Because Jesus Christ died once for all on the cross and he rose again from the dead for our sins.
But according to Leviticus, you're supposed to do sin offerings if you have sinned.
Okay, you guys are just colossally ignorant. Okay, do you understand that the Mosaic law was a covenant between God and the nation of Israel. Is the Mosaic law universally binding upon all inhabitants of the earth?
It's in the Bible, no?
Okay, Mister, I'm so smart. I'm a 20-year-old. I'm a big boy. I'm smarter than a 50-year-old. Can you answer my question?
I wouldn't say it's subjective to Israel only.
Okay, so hey, P. Mars, can you mod me?
I
P Mars,
did.
don't do it. As you can clearly see, he's trying to take over your life, my
No,
G.
no,
Let's
I'm not
normally
trying
have
to
a
take over his
conversation.
live. I'm modded
You
on his
are
other
a
accounts.
moderator, Darth. You are a moderator. I modded you.
All right, it's not showing
He's
up.
just going to kick me, P Mars, and then we're not going to have a conversation. We're not going to enjoy
Oh,
our
okay. All right,
games.
now it's working. Okay, so this is weird though. It's not showing up the way it normally does.
Oh no, you always
Now,
say this. Every time I mod you, you always say this.
then it's a glitch.
Okay.
Okay. So arguably, okay.
Call me Cash. It's easier. Sounds like
No,
something.
I'm not. No, your name doesn't say Cash on the screen.
It does. It says arguable Cash
Oh
400.
my God. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So
Can you kick him or not?
no, let me quit and rejoin.
P Mars, I don't understand it. I've been very respectful. He's been very attackive towards me. I just want to have a conversation with you.
It's because you're arrogant and
I'm
you're
not
like,
being arrogant.
you are being arrogant and you're bickering. Because when I called you arrogant, you instantly went to bickering.
I didn't. He
Bickering
went-
and arrogant. You're very obnoxious. Like I don't know what to tell
So,
you.
are you telling me that religion doesn't spread
You're
across?
not. You have no self-awareness of how annoying you are.
What? He's the one
You
who's
are
annoying with everything.
unaware of how obnoxious you are. You are
You're just
obnoxious.
obnoxious because if
And you have
religion
no
can spread,
self-awareness, and you're arrogant, and you bicker.
hey, you
All right,
constantly attack
I'm
more
not
people than in the
modded.
past.
Okay, did you scroll all the way to the bottom?
I'll literally send. You want me to send you a screenshot? It says
All right,
on my
listen.
screen, you're a moderator. It says it
Okay.
on my screen. I will screenshot it and send it to you.
Okay. Do you understand that there are two classes of moderators? One is a moderator for the text chat, and then the other way is a moderator for the on stage. Okay, so when you selected me to be a moderator, did you scroll all the way to the bottom where it says manage guests?
You're right.
And then you have to hit confirm.
You're right. That's what I did wrong. You're right. Okay, my bad.
Okay, so I'm right again.
Hey, some people just don't know the technology.
No, I forgot. Like I thought when you made a mod, I forgot you have to like give them the ability.
Yeah, this is an interface design mistake on the part of TikTok.
Not really. It's called set moderator.
You know what? You are so fucking arrogant.
I know. It's because you're
It's called
fucking trash, dude.
What an arrogant. Hey, he's a 20-year-old. He's smarter than a 15-year-old.
He was doing it was like the Monty Python sketch where like you pay for an argument and then the guy just like disagrees with whatever you say. We could say 1 + 1 = 2, and you go, no, it's 3.
Okay, he's such a. This is. It's so stupid. They think that because if there's a rule given down in Leviticus, right, that this is universally binding upon all inhabitants of the earth. They don't understand.
Runs away, Darth runs away, Darth runs away from the argument. Darth runs away, runs away, run.
You sound British.
Look, if somebody was constantly acting like a child,
Darth, you do act
regular
like
world.
a child on a constant basis.
I didn't hear you.
You act just like a child.
How do I do that?
You basically ask questions, and you're like, oh, if they answer something that's not exactly what you want, you start.
Well,
It's
that
like
is a
toddler.
that's a complete.
I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna dump
No,
you.
Okay,
dude.
yeah, that what you just said is a complete mischaracterization and a straw man representation. That's not what I do.
When they give us an answer, they contradict themselves.
Okay, when I constantly ask very carefully defined and succinct questions, people when they pretend to answer my question, but they're answering something that they want to say, but they're not actually answering the question per se. Okay, because to answer my questions is to put them in a position where it either shows the bankruptcy of their position or it's going to lead to the bankruptcy of their position. So I don't get upset when people give me answers that I don't agree with. What I do is I get upset when people give me deceitful and evasive responses. Do you know what the word prevaricate means?
No, you don't
Okay, you
dominate the
just did
conversation. You want to
exactly what
dominate
I
the
get upset at.
conversation.
I asked you a
rant,
question. I'm about
you
to
rant,
kick
and then
you.
make a
I'm
question and
about to.
expect
Okay,
me
now
to
I'm
be your slave. I'm
blocking your
not your
account.
slave. I'm not your slave.
Bye. Wow, these people are mentally ill. They are real. They are just simply they're mentally ill. It's unbelievable. Let me block him.
Hello.
Welcome. Let's hope you're not mentally ill.
How are you both doing today?
We're doing fine. What do you want to say?
That Christianity can't be objectively proven.
Can you prove that?
So within the Bible, it says that.
Okay, I asked you a question.
Yes, and
Can
I'm proceeding
you
to prove that.
can anything be objectively proven in your model of reality?
Yes.
Okay, what is your absolute referent within your model of reality in order to ground anything?
So for starters, it's gotta make sense. It's gotta have continuum.
No. Okay, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, well, my question went right over your head. Okay, I said, what is your absolute referent? Do you know what that means?
Yeah. What I believe the reference.
No.
Okay. You explain it to me
Do
then.
you
Please.
think you understand what I said by what is your absolute reference?
I believe.
What
I
is
do.
it
I
in
just
your
have different
model of
definitions.
reality? Listen, I'll go through this real slow for you. Okay, what is it in the totality of your model of reality that is itself absolute, cannot fail to exist, and provides for all states of contingency?
Yes.
What
Am I
is
allowed
it?
to answer that?
If you don't answer that question, I'm going to kick you.
So my version of it is that it's gotta make sense and line up.
Okay,
You can't contradict each other.
dude, you are a 20-year-old going on 13.
You can't even listen. I said I was
You
21.
literally do not have critical thinking
I said I was
skills.
21, so clearly you weren't listening.
You're listening. Okay, I'm going to try to be patient with you one more time.
Thank you.
Okay, if you continue to be a fool, I'm going to kick you. Now, I asked you, what is it that is absolute and cannot fail to exist and provides for the actuality and sustaining of any contingent state? Do you know what a contingent state is?
Do you want to elaborate on that for me?
Okay, you know what? No, you're just too stupid as a 21-year-old. Goodbye.
No.
Welcome, neighbor. Hello, Sierra.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you an adult?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you like to say?
Well, yeah, just number 3 is just completely untrue. Most historians, almost all scholars will agree that there was slavery in ancient Israel. There's biblical sources and non-biblical sources that we can explore. But to say that there's no slavery in ancient Israel is just blatantly false.
Well, to me, like I always thought, don't you think like slavery is oppressive?
Yeah.
So
owning another human being as property is oppressive. Yeah.
yeah, well, but in Israel, God owned. You couldn't own another human being as property.
That's not true at all.
It is true.
What verse do you want to go to? God tells the Hebrews explicitly who you can and cannot own as property, what you can do with them,
Sir.
how you can sell them,
Sir,
how much to beat them.
sir, this is
I'm
this
a
is
man.
sir. Oh, what?
I'm a woman, but it's okay. What's up?
Oh, my bad. That's this is like, so you got to understand their culture, right? Let's not be bigots, okay? So at that time, family was like a small business. So this is describing like business. These are contracts. This is like a business contract.
No, not really. Not when you can
Yes, it
not
is.
when foreign slaves can be owned permanently and passed down as inheritance. That's not when you do not have access to your freedom, when you cannot be freed
You
by the
know,
person that owns you. That's not
okay.
contractual. That's oppression.
LeBron James has an owner.
That's not the
Um,
same.
it is because when
No, it's not the same as. Do you
listen
think that
to
signing
me,
a contract
it is the
and
same.
do you think
It's the
signing a
same.
contract to a sports franchise is the same as being a slave?
See,
Being able to be
because
beating
this
your
is
family
business.
members? No,
I'm trying to
that's
point out how absurd and bigoted you're being and your reasoning, because this is business terminology. LeBron James has an owner, right? But you wouldn't say LeBron James is a slave just because he has an owner. And LeBron James has a contract that when the owner dies of the Lakers, that contract, the contract is inherited by the daughter. Jeannie Buss inherited that contract. So this is just you have to understand that family is like a small business, and these are like business contracts that are being passed, like the that are being inherited and passed down. It's the contract. It's not like the person as their body. You can't own a person's body.
Will LeBron James be beaten if he breaks his contract? Will there be physical ramifications? Will somebody sell him and his family apart from each other to other people if he breaks his contract?
No, but he's not allowed.
But okay, there you go.
Can't play
That's the difference because
basketball.
he has autonomy over who
No,
he
he
is as a
doesn't.
person. Yes, he
No, he
does.
doesn't.
LeBron James can break a contract.
But
Of
his
course, he
labor.
might be.
So they own his labor.
Yes, all business owners own the labor of the people that they
Right. So
employ.
that's what the word property in the Bible, that's referring to their labor. It's not referring to like their body. Their body isn't the property, it's their labor. So this is just business terminology. It's nothing oppressive or
Where do
cruel.
you what do you mean property? I don't understand. I don't understand how you can look at the Israelites who, after wars, conquered people and held them as slaves, oftentimes women, right, as sexual slaves. I don't understand how you can look at this and liken it to a multi-billionaire having a contractual agreement with a sports franchise. These are not the same. Just because somebody owns your capital, right? Just because these are similar, like conceptually, does not mean that they are the same thing in practice at all.
You were not allowed to go to war and just like um um abuse women. Like you would have to like marry a woman and incorporate her into society. You couldn't just have own someone as a slave. Like that's insane.
Well, it is
Did you?
insane. That's why it's bad that God
But that didn't
told Israel.
happen. That didn't happen. So what happened? Their society. They didn't have prisons. They didn't have You can go to a bank and get a loan. They didn't have welfare.
Well,
So
there wasn't a
this
bank
they
or a
had.
wealth.
This is how they structured.
What are you talking about?
You're just being a horrible bigot. This is just how they structured. This is just how they struck. Oh my God! This is they didn't. These are socioeconomic institution of servanthood is how they structured their society to survive, because they didn't have the modern socioeconomic institutions that we have.
So you have to enslave other people?
Okay, you're not listening.
I don't understand. I need you to reiterate what
You're not listening to like anything I'm saying. You're
I
just.
don't understand what the socioeconomic context has to do with any of this. I think slavery and owning another person is bad, period. And I think humans and I think
You know
over the
why
course
you
of,
think that's bad? Because Jesus changed how we have relationships with people. That's why you think that's bad.
according to the Christian canon, Jesus and God are the same person. So you can't say that slavery is wrong and owning another human.
That's why you're that those laws come from Jesus. Did Jesus own slaves?
Jesus told his people to go and own slaves. Yes.
Okay, you're insane.
Is Jesus God? Yes or no?
Jesus did not tell people to go and own slaves. That's insane. Welcome, neighbor.
How's it going, man?
It's going well.
I genuinely came up because I just wanted to know, like, Darth was on here, and
I don't want to talk about Darth.
sorry,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Well, I genuinely is this a bit? Because I'm going
No,
insane.
I'm not.
You
This is
guys are
not
like
a bit.
really good, man. Like the rage bait is really good.
Oh my god! If you think it's rage, I guess the truth must make you upset. If you think
No,
it's
I mean
rage
like the
bait.
way you even like, dude, emphasize like you're like, don't be a bigot. Like, is this rage bait?
Well,
Like,
she
what is?
was being. There's a lot of hatred to those people in the Old Testament and the current version of those people in the modern. There's a lot of hatred towards those people historically too. Like all throughout time, people have hated. They've gotten a lot of hate, so it's just unfortunate. And the one version of it's like a dog whistle. What they do is they go on TikTok and they go, "Oh, Leviticus 25 and slavery." That's like a dog whistle for anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I mean, just coming off that last one with your conversation with her, I was just like, I don't know, man. Even like your interaction with Darth before he left, I was kind of just like,
Yeah.
you guys are good at this. It seems like a bit like the way he go after like people's age and stuff, and
Do you have a, so is this what you want to talk about, Matt? Do you have an argument or?
like actually, no. I just was impressed, and I wanted to congratulate you.
Okay. Um, who the hell is this guy? Welcome, neighbor.
So, hello. So I'm just looking for the qualitative difference between Bible slavery and, say, African slavery.
I don't know. I don't know much about African slavery.
Okay, well, I mean that's fair if you do. It's just it seems like that's the point of comparison that people will have for like why it's bad, and then like I'm failing to see like the meaningful difference. I will say that some of the Hebrew slaves are treated better. For example, they're
I'm
not
not
like forced to
interested.
marry
I'm not
typically.
really interested what you have to say about the matter because you're kind of adult. So, do you have like an argument or something, big boy?
So the article was good about how it's about slavery being like qualitatively the same for the most part, but
I'm not interested. I'm just debunking like the idea that the Old Testament there's like slavery in ancient Israel. That Leviticus 25 somehow is like outlining some oppressive slave system or something. That's like insane.
there were like slaves in perpetuity, which is like directly analogous to African slavery. So if like African
Okay,
slavery,
I'm really getting tired of this bigotry. So you don't understand the ancient world. Their families were like a small business, right? And so all we have here is like business terminology. Okay,
yeah, I'm talking about like war captives.
war captives again. They don't have prisons, right? So if people are violent, yeah, if people are violent, you gotta like keep them in check, or else they're gonna come around and destroy you. So I don't understand why would that be an issue?
It's going to be a direct refutation of your claim that there was no slavery in ancient Israel. There was some. You're just saying it was justified.
Okay. Well, are you gonna? You're not really being serious. So, like, you're suggesting that like a society let violent people just roam free in the society. I don't think that's really like a serious. Stop. You're a clown. This is not a serious contention. Now, do you want to be serious? I'm about to kick you. I'm getting irritated at your clownery.
I'm very confused, but if you say so,
All right.
dog.
All right. What a dick.
Hey, how's it
Hi.
going?
It's going well.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the argument for abortion being immoral is.
God says he hates to shed or when people shed innocent blood.
Yeah, what's the argument that the fetus is innocent?
Bye.
Okay.
Good day.
Welcome, neighbor.
Hello, I'm glad we can finally have a conversation without Darth
Oh, I bet you
interrupting
are.
us.
Yeah, if you talk about Darth again, I'm gonna kick you.
Apologies, man. So yeah, as I was saying about the whole Christianity thing, right? So I would like to make this sure across all Christians, because obviously people believe different things and have different interpretations over the Bible. So, do you believe in the fact that God is all-knowing, all-good, and all-powerful?
Yes.
Okay, that's not possible. He can't be all three.
Why not?
Okay, so in the world we live in, as you've just stated to that previous guy, abortion is bad because it's slaying the blood of the innocent.
Yep.
Yet we have stillborns, miscarriages, cancers which actually kill babies off before they even have a chance to sin.
You have to say unallowed. Yeah.
Yet God stands by and does nothing. So he's not all
Well,
good.
that's not true. That's not true. There's a lot of evil that he prevents that we're not aware of, right?
Such as,
We won't know until we die, but the Bible teaches us that there's a lot. God is active in our lives, that he's doing things in mysterious ways through his providence. So
okay, do
not
you
that he
understand
doesn't.
the Catholic side of Christianity?
No.
Okay. I'll talk a little bit about that, help you get a little
Well,
bit of an
I'm not a Catholic. I don't care about that.
Okay. So when that child is stillborn, right? Does that child go to heaven?
I don't know.
Why don't you know? I thought it was written in the Bible, but the Bible does tell us that a child that isn't
No,
baptized.
I only know what the Bible says. The Bible doesn't say like uh, 1-year-old baby goes to heaven automatically. The Bible doesn't say that, so I can't know that.
So, okay, fair enough. So God can't be all good when there's innocent people dying, right? If he's all powerful, then he can
What's the
stop it.
contradiction?
Okay, so if he's all powerful, he will stop the bad, right? People will die less. Only the people who sin will die,
No,
and not the innocent.
no,
Correct? If he's all powerful.
no, because God's not like a dictator, right? If God wanted to, he could force you to believe in him, right? Or obey him.
Okay, so then he's not all good because he's letting innocent people die, and this is the
Okay.
contradiction.
You're not, dude. If God forced you to obey him, would God be good?
No.
Right. So the fact that God gives you the freedom to rebel means God is good and he's not a dictator. God was a dictator, you wouldn't be able to rebel. So the
So
fact
explain to me how him stopping cancer would cause me to forcibly believe in him.
cancer is a result of humans rebelling against God.
Cancer is a result of mutating cells created by God. After all, God
Well,
created
you're
him
not
in his image.
you're not dealing that's not the position. In Christianity, God didn't create the world with cancer, right? In the Garden of Eden, no one had cancer. When did cancer get introduced into the world? When Adam and Eve rebelled. So cancer is a result of our free will choice to rebel against God. So that's not God's fault.
So he punished the sinners and continues to punish the innocent,
No,
therefore contradicting himself in the Bible with slaving the innocent's blood.
you're not
I
understanding
rest
how
my case.
you're not understanding how freedom works. You can't have freedom without responsibility and without consequences. You want to have your cake and you eat it too. If you want to be free, you got to be a big boy. You got to take the responsibility when you make a free choice. So when Adam and Eve made a free choice, there's called consequences. And Adam and Eve are responsible because they're free. That's how it
That
works.
child in the womb made a choice.
Yeah.
Child in
You
a
can't
womb-
have freedom without
child in a womb
risk.
Does not
God
have
took
a
a
choice. He
risk.
does not have the freedom. Yet he
God-
still dies.
Anytime you love someone, you take a risk that they won't love you back or they'll cheat on you or something. They'll break your trust. God took a risk when he loved us, just like everyone takes a risk. And we screwed up. You screwed up. You deserve to go to hell. And God, he doesn't want you to go to hell, so he sacrificed his son so you could have a chance at eternal life.
Oh, that
You
reminds me of
better
a point.
repent and turn to him, or you're going to burn forever.
You said there's no prison.
And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Welcome, neighbor.
Oh no, I'm definitely a neighbor. I was gonna agree with you because the guy was. Oh my, Ramon, get out of here. I'm sorry, my bad. But yeah, I was agreeing with the points that you were making. I'm a Christian as well, but I know you probably just want atheists up here.
Yeah, I'm looking
So
for opposition.
yeah, you good, bro. But I was gonna tell you, yeah. Ramon ain't gonna make no sense, bro. That man just be yapping.
That's true. All right, thanks.
No problem. Appreciate it, bro.
Yap Attack, Ramon Santiago. Is that who I was talking to? Looks like he got on his other account or something. Welcome.
Okay. What's the argument for Christianity?
That when you ask for the argument, you're already standing on the Christian God's ground, because without the Christian God, nothing would be real. He's the source of existence.
That I don't even really see that's the argument. So what's real?
Actual,
Something that's that's
not
really
not pretend, not fantasy.
not pretend, not fantasy. Would you say something that has a material composition that's just real?
It real is actual as opposed to fantasy or pretend, conceptual.
Yeah, I'm saying the conditions there. Do you think something real has to be material? Or do you think there's real concepts or real ideals?
No, because God's immaterial and God is real.
Okay, so would you say God is the only thing there that could be real and immaterial?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not aware of any other immaterial real thing.
Then
That could be.
okay, so how do you prove that? If I make a proposition, let's say atheism, for example, how am I arguing the grounds of God there?
Because if God doesn't exist and that's true, then something must exist. Because if nothing exists, nothing would be true. But if something exists, there would have to be this self-existent, necessary reality, or else you have an infinite regress.
Hold on. How do you derive? I don't even know how you derive that. And when you say something exists, well, what do you mean there? Because I could just say anything exists, right? I could say my carpet exists, right? That could be the thing that exists there. I don't know what we're talking about there when you say anything or something has to exist.
Because for something to be true, if something exists, then it's true. Something exists, right? So you can't have truth without existence. What?
Mythology. I don't know what that does here. Yes.
Because if atheism is true, then something's true, and if something's true, then something must exist. Because if nothing existed, nothing would be true.
Okay, so something exists. Okay.
Right. So if something exists, then there's a necessary self-existent reality. So that's
what's the argument for that?
Because
wait, hold on.
the necessary self-existent reality, you would have an infinite regress of contingent states of affairs.
Wait, okay. Are you just saying that God is the external world?
No, I'm saying God is the source of the necessary mind that makes anything real, the ground of being.
Okay, so you're saying we have truth, and if something's true, something exists. Okay, then you're saying God is the source of that?
If something exists, then there's a self-existent necessary reality, and that's God.
Okay.
Atheism entails God.
Okay, I'm just confused there because the semantics kind of seems pretty primitive and doesn't really see you're getting at anything. If you're just saying there's a
I made an argument. I'm going to kick you if you keep talking like this. I'm going to kick you because what you're doing is an intentional, dishonest use of language, right? I made a clear and concise argument. Now, deal with my argument, little man.
I don't really consider that to be an argument. You literally just...
Well, bye. I don't consider you to be worth it talking to. Welcome, sir. Hey.
Yeah.
What would you like to say?
All right, somebody called me out for no reason, like they knew who I was for some reason. But as Christianity proven true, why was it deeply rooted into slavery throughout history, not only in the Bible, but through transatlantic slavery and in America? They were
Well,
all
they would
Christians.
the
Christopher
Christians in
Columbus, Catholic
Holland.
Christian, the transatlantic slaves, they were Catholic Christians, and the modern slavery in America, they were Christians.
Well, they would have been Christian in label only. Like, did you know the
How do
slave?
you know? They pray,
I was trying
cry,
to answer your question. Hey,
but
stop being
you
rude.
saying
Hey,
label only,
I'm
but
gonna.
that is
Hey,
a
I'm gonna.
lie.
Hey,
Of
are you?
course you're gonna kick me off because you
Okay.
don't have conversations. You just
Well,
want to hear
you're
yourself
being
talk.
rude. You're being rude. You're not
And you're being
listening.
a liar. Because a
Okay.
quick Google search could tell you, everyone here, you could Google search Christianity and how deeply rooted it was in all slavery.
Oh yeah. Well, let's.
But you're gonna say I'm a
Why did
liar,
all
even though
the?
you will
Why
never
did?
check. Your whole rebuttal
Why
is
did
nuh-uh. My
mhm.
God told me nuh-uh.
Yeah, I got something for you.
Of course, you're gonna kick me off.
No,
You're,
I'm not gonna kick you off. I'm gonna embarrass you.
yep.
Why did when the slaves were joining? Have you ever heard the Underground Railroad? Have you ever heard of the Underground Railroad?
Yes.
Do you know what they sang to signal that it's time to escape the plantation and go to the end of? I'm gonna play you the song the slaves sang.
You know
Okay?
why they sung it? You know why?
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell all Pharaohs to let my people
Oh,
go.
so you do
When
believe in slavery
Israel
back then.
was in Egypt's
You know
land,
this song proves there
let
was
my
slavery back then,
people
right?
go.
And you know why they
They
use
pressed so
this, right?
hard they could not stand. Let my people
Who they were
go.
singing it to? The Christians?
Go down, Moses, way
That proves
down in
everything. Thank
Egypt's
you for playing that
land.
song. This
Pray,
proves everything.
Lord, Pharaohs, to let my people go. So Moses went to Egypt's land. Let
And
my
what day he
people
freed? Slaves? I thought that
go.
was in
Made
slavery
all
back then.
the pharaohs understand.
What were
Let
they
my
slaves? Oh,
people
slaves.
go. Go
Oh,
down,
chattel slavery. They were
Moses,
not
way
slaves.
down in Egypt's land. Tell all Pharaohs to let my people go. When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell all Pharaoh, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell all Pharaoh, let my people, let them go. Let my people go. Let my people go. Wow, it sounds like the black slaves in America used the Bible to inspire their
How Gen
fight.
X are getting their teenage body
Oh, so
count.
you do agree there were slaves
Their
back then,
fight,
right?
their fight for freedom. What do you
Freedom
think about
from
that?
what? From what?
What do you
What
have
was
to
they
say
freedom
about
from?
why?
And what did the song say
If
about slaves back then in the Bible?
if the book,
I thought you didn't
if the
agree there were
book,
slaves back then.
sir, if it supports slavery, why did they use the book to inspire their fight for freedom? Can you answer that
Oh,
question?
where did they get the book?
You're going to hell. Yeah. So now he was going to try to say that, oh, the masters forced the book upon them. But if you actually do research, which obviously that guy doesn't, that guy's never read in his life, just total ignorant bigot, right? It's kind of hard to read, but there's a quote. So basically, what this is saying is, I guess I'll have to like reframe this so you guys can read it. But basically, what this is saying. So this is the book. You can look it up. Christian Slavery. What's the page number there? Can't even read. It's page 106, I think. Or is it 196? I can't read it. Okay, but it's saying here that if anyone wants to DM me, I'll get you the quote. So I'm not BSing. Says here that the slaveholding Christians would prevent their slaves. Quaker missionaries would come to plantations and try to preach the gospel to the slaves, and the slave masters or slaveholders would try to prevent the gospel from being preached to the slaves. They did not want the slaves to be Christian. They feared that the Bible would cause a slave rebellion. And guess what? It did. So don't come up here with all your bull jive. You want to act like, oh, then they go, oh, they didn't know how to choose God for themselves. They were forced to be Christian. What an insult to those people, those honorable people. You insult them. Welcome, neighbor.
Welcome.
What would you like to say?
I think, number one, Christianity is objectively proven. I don't think that can coincide with a Christian religion, because it isn't Christianity one of its main tenets based on faith. Is faith not the bridge between human and the divine? I think it is. I mean, there's many quotes from the Bible that says faith is the bridge into heaven. Without faith,
faith in Jesus, who's like
if you prove something, faith doesn't.
Jesus is like a person. He's like a historical fact. So
faith.
If you actually read the Bible, Paul, he says there was 500 witnesses to the resurrection of Christ. So the fact that
if you can prove it, you don't need faith.
Sir, the fact that this was a revelation that was in public. Jesus was crucified in public, resurrected in public. Everyone witnessed this publicly. It's public. It's not an anecdotal story. It's a public revelation. So we have a historical fact that's empirical, testable. So
if you can prove the existence of a Christian God, faith dissolves, and Christianity, one of its main tenets is faith.
Faith just means
if you've got proof, faith doesn't exist.
That's not true. Faith and proof are not mutually exclusive. This is like not accurate.
Okay, what does the word faith mean to you then?
Faith, it just means you have a high degree of confidence in something. Like I have faith that one.
Yeah, but you say you can prove it. If you can prove something, you don't have a high. There's no probabilities there. You can prove it.
Do you have a high degree of confidence that 1 + 1 = 2?
Yeah, of course I do.
So you have faith.
It can be proven. It can be proven.
It's proven, and you have faith in it, and you have faith in it too. You have faith that 1 + 1 = 2.
I have faith in the fact that I don't understand within certain mathematical equations, so I don't have a comprehension of it. So I have faith in the people know what they're talking about.
When someone says they have faith in their wife, wouldn't that be based on evidence? Because if their wife,
100% sure. That's what I'm saying.
Your wife,
you can't prove something and then have faith in it. You can have faith in something that you don't have 100% proof on. So I think if you can prove the existence of a Christian God,
you're just arbitrarily
theology.
You're just arbitrarily asserting this. Like no one would use. No one typically uses the word that way.
Everyone uses the word faith. You don't have faith in something that you 100%.
I don't know. Like I can't have a conversation with you because you don't know what words mean. So I don't know what to do.
I mean, just Google it, dude.
Okay. Good luck with that. Doesn't even know what words mean. Holy crap. Welcome, neighbor.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm just curious about the first two bullet points on your slide there. I was trying to Christianity is objectively proven and atheism is irrational.
Yes, they go hand in hand. because
based. Well, I'm on here. Yeah.
well, basically, like, if I asked you, like, what's the reason your reason, we need the Christian God to make reason real. Without the Christian God, reason doesn't make any sense. So
Why not? I mean,
is the
reason.
God?
Go ahead.
God is like the source of our reason. So you're like denying the source of human reason. You can't. Where else would it come? It can't just evolve it or something.
Well, no, I mean, reason from everything we have is that, I mean, 1 + 1 = 2 isn't a fact unto itself. It's what we have defined as when you have two identical things, we labeled it 2. There's 2 of them. That way we can explain it to each other. So it's not.
It's more than a label. It's not just a label. There's like a truth.
Not?
Because it's a truth. Like when
one, you could. It doesn't have to be, because there's a metric system that works the same way. I mean.
Yeah, but it's a necessary truth. Like 1 + 1 = 2. That will always be true. There's never a time where it's going to be 1 + 1 = 3. So that's an eternal truth. So to have an eternal truth, we need an eternal mind.
Why mind? I mean,
because that's truth is like immaterial. It's not.
I mean, wouldn't that kind of fall to the like the old saying of, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound? Well, yes, it does. Based on physics, it's going to still hit against each other with the ground and make a noise, even if we're not there to observe it. So, I mean, 1 + 1 = 2 is what we say when we see that scenario, not it's there and we have to abide by it, you know.
Well, think about the law of non-contradiction. So something can't exist and not exist at the same time. The tree that falls in the wood couldn't both exist and not exist. It has to be one or the other.
Yeah.
So that's true always before humans. So that's we're talking about, like, eternal truths exist. It's undeniable. And there's no explanation for an eternal truth without an eternal mind. And since human what
do you mean by? I mean, explain. Can you explain that better for me?
So you could write on a paper the sky is blue, or we could take a piece of paper and write the sky is blue like 5 times, right? Yeah. We would have 5 statements. We have 5 statements, but we would only have one truth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that shows that truth isn't like the physical thing. Truth is like a immaterial. It's like a mental substance.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see that, but I understand. I know.
You don't get in the example when we write down on a piece of paper. We have 2 statements. A proposition is a statement that is true or false. So we have 2 statements, but we only have one proposition. It's only one truth.
Well, so I mean, think of it like this. My example would be, if I want to measure a board to cut it so that I can build something, I can hold it up against a board that I want of the same length, mark it, and that is one way to do it. Or I can say I can measure it against a thing with numbers, use math, and do it that way. But both of them are true. But it's just that one's physical, one's not. But they both accomplish the same thing, and either one of them is a concept of, like, I guess you would say, immaterial concept. I mean, it's still a fact.
Well, I mean, like, you can physically take like a 1-inch board and another 1-inch board, nail them together, and now you have like a 2-inch board or something, right? Like, so you can physically do that. But like, you can do that physically multiple times. Like, there's a bunch of representations in the physical, like 1 + 1 = 2. You can show that physically like multiple ways, but there's only one truth. No matter how many physical representations of it, there's only one truth. So the truth isn't like a physical thing. You see that?
But I'm saying nobody had to decide that that was the case, is what I'm saying. There was no reason that it had to be decided to be that case.
But it's not a physical thing, so it's there's only physical and mental substance. Is there another substance?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, there's.
So it's not. We
there's
know
a-
it's not physical because we can see, like, we can write it down like 3 times. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. That's 3 physical statements, but it's only one truth. So the truth is not the physical.
No, the truth, I mean, the sky is blue isn't, that's our labeling of, I mean, blue is what we call that color. It can
but
be azul,
that's
it
not.
can be,
We're talking about truth.
right, but
Truth
you're
isn't.
using,
Do you think truth is physical?
yeah,
It can't be. I just explained why it can't be.
no, you didn't, you explained why
What?
that version of truth, the way you're explaining truth is a concept, but the sky is blue is a physical phenomenon.
I
mean, so
understand
that's the
that,
truth.
but a truth statement. When you
Is
write
it
a sentence, the sentence is either true or false, right?
right?
So we can write like 5 sentences, but that say the sky is blue, but that doesn't give us 5 truths.
No,
So the truth
but
isn't physical, because if it was physical, 5 statements would be 5 truths, but it's not 5 truths. It's one truth written 5 times.
it's 5 times you've written the explanation of what is the color, what do we call the
Oh
color
my
of the
God.
sky?
You're not
That's all
getting
you've
it.
done. I mean,
Yeah, but truth
and
is a statement.
it's an explanation of something.
No, truth is a sentence. Like, we need to say A is B. That's truth.
But every bit of it,
It's a statement. It's something we
X is
say.
B is a statement of something that is. It's not that the sentence doesn't make the thing
Right.
true if it's not.
Right. But the thing that makes it true isn't.
I'm trying to follow you. I really am. I'm being sincere about this. I'm just trying to see where you're coming from.
A truth. There's 5 truth statements, 5 physical truth statements, but there's only one truth. If truth was physical, there would be 5 truths.
Well, but in that case, specific,
but
in
why
that
aren't there 5
specific,
truths? Why is there only one truth? Why isn't there 5 truths?
because it's a category error. You're saying
Okay,
that
bye.
I
You're just being
I
an
wrote
asshole.
down.
You're an asshole. Welcome, neighbor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Very good. So your topic is Christianity is objectively proven.
Yes.
I would say instead, Christianity is objectively disproven, and
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
by the law, and see
The
in the
what?
law, we have to look at the foundation of Christianity and compare it to the law.
What are you? Are you saying the law?
Yes,
What's the law?
the law that the Most High gave to His chosen people, the Israelites.
Uh-huh.
Does Christianity align with the law? And when we look at Christianity to try and align it with the law, which is the foundation of the people, children of Israel, it doesn't align with the law. So therefore, and I can prove it even further if you'd like me to go into detail.
Not really, because you're contradicting what the Bible says. So you're just a crazy heretic.
Okay, can I prove by the law then to show you? Instead of just calling me a crazy heretic without any information.
No, because you're denying Jesus is the law. Do you understand that?
Okay, do you know the law forbids human sacrifice?
Yeah.
Okay, so Christianity, the foundation, the core of Christianity is a blood human sacrifice.
That's not true.
But that's exactly what the New Testament claims.
Okay. That's not true. Let me
That's a
explain.
direct contradiction.
Can I explain why you're
Explain.
incorrect? So Jesus isn't like a mere human. He's a God man. So it's not a human sacrifice. It's a God sacrifice. Do you understand?
Okay, so you said he's a God man. So therefore, according to your logic, he's a half of abomination then.
Okay. I'm gonna kick you because
Of
you're
course you are,
stupid.
because you're illogical. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Good luck in hell. Oh my God. Welcome, neighbor.
Hello. There we
Hello.
go. It wasn't working before. Good day. Good day. So what's your thoughts on paganism in
It's
relation to the 12 deities?
it's
The 12
like
instances.
if you claim to be a pagan, then I'm just gonna think that you have daddy issues.
I mean, my dad's the only one left, so.
Uh-huh.
But I do find it funny because the Christians did pee in the sea and leave horse dung in there to spite Poseidon. So, if Christianity don't believe other religions exist, why did they tear down statues of Apollo, destroy scriptural buildings that was related to paganism, to the point where they pretty much almost wiped it out and there had to be a modern revitalization of paganism? Why did they pee and leave horse dung in the sea to spite Poseidon if they didn't believe it existed?
Because they like the institution of the church aligned with the power of the state, and they tried to like enforce Christianity, which I think was like a mistake, and it's not what the gospel's about. Corrupts basically.
So,
Humans are evil and power corrupts. Basically, is which.
So the whole of the Christian Crusades, which was set out to destroy other religions, were corrupt and going against God, therefore making them all sinners.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So then it can't be objectively proven because there's a change. Christianity changed under King Henry VIII too, when he changed the laws of Christianity and the Bible so that he could go and divorce his wives and marry others.
It's not how it works. Just because a human in Christianity, a human doesn't decide the law, right? It comes from God. So God's unchanging. So it never changes. And you have to believe that to even argue with me, right? Like you're standing on the Christian God's ground to even debate.
So what Bible do you believe in then?
All of them.
But they're all different from each other?
No, they're all the same.
Especially King Henry VIII one. There's also different types of Christianity. You've got Catholicism too, and then there's different types of Catholicism that are based around the world, which talks about different things, but yet still follow the Christian God. So it changes. In fact, it's constantly changing.
Yeah. So
therefore, God changes. Therefore, it cannot be objectively proven.
You don't understand. Humans change. God doesn't change.
So, if you believe in all the Bibles, humans changed the Bibles to suit their needs when they changed, especially King Henry VIII.
They don't change the Bible.
Especially King Henry VIII. Did he not change?
Dude, stop. That's grossly inaccurate. We have thousands of manuscripts across space and time. The Bible's 98% accurate and verified. Now, people's interpretations do change because of confirmation bias. So what? We still have the absolute truth written in the scripture. We know what it says. So it's not an issue.
The Bible has changed at 98% accuracy.
It doesn't
there
matter.
is still 2% of missing accuracy.
Okay. You don't know what
Therefore,
you're talking
it's changed.
Therefore, it's changed. It's not changed. Oh my gosh. People are so misinformed on these things. I don't know why they just assume these things. They just assume the Bible's been changed and corrupted for some reason. There's no reason to think that.